can't be doing that. This swatch is so pretty, y'all. Very excited about that one.
It looks like chaos, but I'm working something out of my brain.
I don't want to get overwhelmed by it. Hey y'all, it's Taylor from yokieB crochetandknit.com. Thank you so much for joining me for my 2026 crochet and knitting plans. I'm super excited to dive into this yarn. You may have caught my last video where I go through all of my yarn. I wanted to see exactly what I had. I definitely want to work down my stash this year because I have less space to store my yarn stash. So I wanted to work through some of the yarn I have already. And honestly, it's been really inspiring. I've been excited to find some patterns to go with it. The difficult part has been like choosing a pattern. So I don't have patterns for everything quite yet, but I do have patterns for a lot of it. So I'll go ahead and share all the patterns that I have chosen with you guys. I'll be sure to link everything down below that I can, all the patterns, all the yarn. So just be sure to check there if you're looking for anything in particular, but of course ask me any questions about any yarn or any patterns or anything like that, and I will definitely try to answer. Let's go ahead and dive into this yarn and make some crochet knitting plans for 2026. So in my last video, I went through every single piece of yarn and divided it into yarn by weight, and then also yarn that I already had a plan for, and then yarn that I did not have a plan for. So this bin right here is all the yarn that I did not have a plan for, and it was by weight. It's kind of still like that, but because I've been like kind of getting into it and figuring out what I want to use this yarn for, it's a little bit more messed up. But everything in this bin is something that I do not have a plan for, or didn't have a plan for when I did that video. If you want to check out that video, I'll be sure to link it down below. But it's so funny, and I knew this was going to happen. I did find my yarn winder today when I was looking through a bin in the storage room, but I also found more yarn, of course. So I did find one more thing of yarn. Oh, I also found some more knitting needles and my pom-pom makers. So, oh, also my safety eyes. So that is super, super great. And I found some more like thread and things like that. So that is all really, really great. But I found yarn that I had forgotten about, sort of. It did come to mind when I was filming that video, but then I guess I just forgot about it, and then it just went away. You know how it does. But I have this velvet yarn that I think is Premier Retro Velvet. I do not have a plan for this. Well, I did actually, when I made a video, I think it was a fall planning video, or maybe it was a New Year's planning video a few years ago. I did have a plan for this. I wanted to use this, and then also the yellow that I had together. I had this sweater when I was younger that was like a velour, just one of those 80s, you know, kind of striped velour little pullover type sweatshirts, and I loved it so much, and so I thought it'd be fun to kind of try to recreate that. I mean, I still think that I would like to do that, but because this yarn has been sitting here for so long, I think I'm just going to not work on that at the moment and not really make a plan for it. I might come back to it and just assume that this is what I'm going to use this yarn for, but we'll see. I did also have this purple, which I think is Drops Charisma, I believe, and I was originally going to use this, I think for the ribbing maybe on that sweater, but I may have another plan for it. So I'm going to actually use this in another pattern that I'm going to share with you guys. I think it's kind of funky, but I think it's going to be cool. So all of that I have left over, I'm going to use with that. So I'll set that aside, and then I'm just going to have to find a plan for this. I also found some leftover Wool in the Gang cotton that I had from my, I think, Kyla pullover, I'm pretty sure, by Happy Love Co. I absolutely love Wool in the Gang cotton, so I definitely want to use this. I don't have a ton of it, so I don't know what I'd use it for, but I'll just stick that with my cotton bin. So I have this bin right here that has all the yarn and different weights of things I need projects for, and then this one down here is yarn that I already have a project picked out for. I will maybe go over that today. We're gonna have to see how long this video gets. Since I do already have projects for that, I did share that in my yarn video. So if I don't get to it today, you can kind of go back and check that out to find out what I'm making with this yarn. But I did bring it out just in case we had time to go through it. And then I have one other bin that has all of my cotton in it. So it has cotton and then like polyfill in it. So anything for amigurumi and stuff like that. I figured if I have a cotton project, I can, if I want to make granny squares or if I want to crochet an amigurumi project, I will just have all the cotton in there to go to anytime I need. Let's go ahead and start. We have got, I think what I'm most excited about, although I don't know, once I get to this yarn right here, I'm very excited about what I'm going to use this for. So let's see what I want to make. So this is Addi yarn. I had never seen this yarn before, but my friend got it for me for my birthday and I am absolutely obsessed with it. It is 85% superwash and 15% neon nep, I think. These amazing little neon speckles. I love them so much. There is 231 yards on each of these hanks. So I have 462 yards to use in a project. That's not quite enough for a sweater. I could make a beanie. So I've got two projects in mind. One of the projects is this 2-color brioche hat by Pearl Soho. It's a really pretty hat. I really like it, and I know that I would love it with this yarn. So this pattern comes in a baby size all the way up to an adult medium large. It looks like there's a small medium or a medium large in adult size. It's just a really simple 2-color brioche beanie. I think it's really cute. I think that the yarn would look amazing, and then of course it would be reversible too, so I could wear either side, and I may end up going with that. So this is a DK weight yarn, which the pattern also calls for a DK weight yarn. It looks like they use Pearl Soho Cashmere Merino, which sounds awesome. It looks really pretty too. I've never used that yarn before, but I think this yarn would work really well for it. I just want to make sure that I don't have a bunch left over. I also was looking through patterns for everything else and may end up changing my mind for this. I don't know. I just love it so much that I really kind of want it to be in a sweater, but I don't have enough for a sweater, and so I'd have to add it in with something else. And I found this Lollipop sweater pattern that is a brioche pattern, and it uses up scraps, and I thought it would be so cute with this. And then just using some of these sock scraps that I have. I'm pretty sure, well, this is a fingering weight yarn. The only thing is this is a DK weight, so that would, I could use 2 fingering weight yarns together and get the same gauge, hopefully, as the DK weight. But some of these would be so fun because there's like neons in them and just like some really fun colors. So I don't know, that's another idea for that. I do think that the beanie is really cute and I would enjoy wearing the beanie, but obviously garments are my favorite thing to make, so that's also on the radar. I'm not sure. My cat is chasing her tail right here. I think that would be so cute, and I think it might really look cute and kind of funky. You know, part of me is like, oh, maybe I should just buy another skein to go in with this, but then y'all can't be doing that. I can't remember if the pattern called for a DK weight or a fingering weight. I'll be sure to put all that information in here, but I did think that that was another fun idea. So, oh my goodness, so many fun things. Just, I gotta figure out what to choose. So this sweater is by Boredom Kills Design, it looks like is the name of it. This pattern is on Ravelry, and that's where I found it, but you can also get it for free on her website. And so I really love this sweater. I mean, I love brioche anyway, and I really love 2-color brioche. This is just like a scrap yarn project, so it's not a 2-color brioche, but I think I could kind of work it in that way. For this pattern, they do use a fingering weight yarn, and it looks like it's 897 yards for the smallest size. I wouldn't make the smallest size, which I think is an extra, oh, it's an extra small. So I might make a small, which is a finished chest measurement of 40 inches. So I might do that. So there are 2 options. You can either make the straight body, or I think there's like a more tapered body. And so this is a really cool pattern. I thought that it looked so pretty. I especially love the yarn that she used here. But she also says this would work as like a scrap yarn project. And so you could use lots of different colors of yarn, which I think would be really pretty with this. I want this yarn to show as much as possible. So that is a thought. I haven't decided yet. Either way though, I really love this pattern, and I'll be sure to link her website down below where it's a free downloadable pattern, because I really want to make this pattern, even if I don't use this yarn for it. Well, somehow I couldn't find the footage, or I forgot to film it for this yarn before winding it up. But in my last video, I shared that I got this from our local holiday market. Juno Woolies just opened a yarn store in January, and they had a booth at the market. This 100% Peruvian wool was on sale, and I thought it had the prettiest warm tones, and so I went to grab a few skeins of it. I have since found my yarn winder, thankfully, and wound these into cakes, but here's a little bit of my thought process. Okay, got it all wound up, and this is what it looks like. It's just really pretty colors, really pretty warm shades. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at my cat. This position, this sleep position, always cracks us up because it looks like they're like ashamed. They like put their head straight down. It's so funny. I'm thinking now, after winding this all up, and y'all, I really wish that I had my yarn winder right now. I'm thinking that I may hold either two of these together, or I may hold this with another yarn. I was thinking about holding it with that brushed alpaca silk. That was kind of in the back of my mind, that peachy color. I'll go get it to show you guys what that looks like. Here's that drops brushed alpaca silk that I showed you guys earlier, and I think that this would look so pretty held together with this. I think it would just make it so soft. It's not super soft anyway, and so I think that might really make it soft. If I did that, I could make like a little t-shirt or something like that, because if I ended up holding two of these together and then also one of these, then it would obviously make the yardage a lot less. So I'm not sure. The only problem with this is I would have to purchase more of this yarn, and so, you know, that's kind of a bummer when you're trying to clean out your stash to purchase more yarn. And I had already come up with an idea. I'm not sure if I've told you guys about it yet in this video, but I had already come up with an idea for this yarn, so I'm not sure, but I do think that that would be really cute. So
okay, so I tested it out, and I don't know that I love it, only because the alpaca is kind of overshadowing the other yarn. So I'm also going to test 2 strands of this Juno Woolies yarn together and see what I think. There's also the option of, I think it's the kid silk, which is a lighter weight than this one. I just think it just looks fuzzy, and I just want it to be a compliment. I don't want it to take over the yarn. So I think I will not use the brushed alpaca silk, but I may still use the kid silk, but we're also going to try 2 strands together.
this swatch is so pretty, y'all. Holding 2 of them together, there's quite a bit of variation from skein to skein. So just look at that, like, oh my goodness, it's so pretty, y'all. I absolutely love it. So I'm really excited about that. Both of these are pretty different, as you can tell. There's like quite a bit of difference there, and so I think holding them together just looks so pretty. So if I hold them both together, obviously it's going to cut the yarn in half, so it's going to be more like 680 instead of 1300. And I think because of that, I'm going to end up making a tee. So I plan on making Rift. I've actually had this in my favorites for a long time, and it's just such a cool, like, boxy fit. I absolutely love it. I love a boxy fit. I just think it's gonna really work well for this pattern. I think it is so cute. There's a long sleeve version too, but I don't think that I will have enough yarn for that. But maybe I will make another one in the future, because I think the long sleeve is really cute. And then this detail that like comes up the side and then down the arm, I think looks really cool. So that's what I'm gonna make with this yarn. I actually tested the gauge swatch, and it's exactly to their gauge, or almost exactly. Now I'm using a 4mm needle, and they call for a 5mm. I always have to go down a needle size because I'm such a loose knitter. For this pattern, they use Little Fox yarn Lania. I've never used that yarn, but it is a sport weight, it looks like, and so it worked out well for me to hold these together, because I think it's about a sport weight holding these together. And then the yardage is like 600 to 1,000 yards. I think I'll be just fine. I may make a size 2. I thought about making a size 3, but I think just to be safe with the yardage, I'm gonna make a size 2. And then I think once it's blocked and everything, it'll be a really good fit, because it is meant to be worn, I believe, with like 5 to 10 inches of positive ease. Yeah, oh, it's 6 to 12 inches. So 6 to 12 inches of positive ease, but I think this is gonna look really good. I cannot wait. And honestly, I don't have very many short sleeve sweaters. Once I started knitting these together, I was obsessed with the variation in color. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna be making Rift with this, and I'm super excited about it. So next I'm going to be using this Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk for an Andrea Mowry sweater. I think it was actually this month or last month that she came out with Frost Lines, and I favorited it immediately. I love this pattern. The style really reminds me of a sweater that I had when I was a teenager, and I absolutely love it. I'm actually glad that I didn't end up liking the brushed alpaca with this, because I really wanted to use it for this sweater and I did not want to have to purchase more yarn. So I'm really happy how that all turned out. But I do have 2, like probably half donuts of this sweet apricot color, and then I've got 3 of this forest green and 2 of this pistachio ice cream. I really love this yarn, and I think it's gonna be really pretty. I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm gonna do the stripes, but I'm just gonna make it work for the amount of yarn that I have. So this yarn is 77% alpaca and 23% silk. It's really pretty yarn. I absolutely love it. So for this sweater, she uses the Wandering Flock Fluff, and it's a worsted weight yarn. And she has 2 versions in here, a cropped version, I believe, and then a longer version. I'm gonna make the cropped version because that takes less yarn. And I think I only have around 950 yards. I think if I make a size 2 or 3, I should be just fine as far as the yardage goes. If not, then I can just purchase maybe one more donut or 1 or 2 more donuts if I need to complete the sweater. So hopefully that will all work out yardage wise. I was super excited about this pattern, so I thought that would be really cute with it. And I was really surprised that this yarn is actually a worsted weight yarn. Like, I would think that it was a fingering weight yarn, but it is not. I think because of all the halo, it's just got a pretty large halo, and so it is considered a worsted weight. So that'll be perfect, and of course I will adjust my needle size accordingly to get the gauge. So I'm very excited about that, and I think that will be super, super cute. And then I'll of course pick out buttons and all of that. I do think I'm going to put all of these in my cube, but I'm not going to set a specific date on most of them, I don't think, because y'all, I have a bunch of stuff in my queue that I have still not done. I just get distracted very easily and start other projects. I need to go back and see what I finished from my fall planning video. I have finished a couple of the projects that I put in there, but there's quite a few that I have not finished yet and still plan on doing it. So I'm not going to put any finish date on these, but I will have them all in the queue that I can, because that will be fun. So next up we have this Yarn Bee hand-dyed yarn from Hobby Lobby. My mom actually got this for me for Christmas or my birthday. I can't remember, like a year or 2 ago. And so I'm very excited to use it. I originally thought that, and I actually mentioned this in my last video, I originally thought I was going to use it for the side bow slip over, but I think I've changed my mind. I do still want to make the side bow slip over, but I think I am going to make the Seven Sisters sweater. It's a free pattern on the Hobie website. I think I saw it in an email that they had sent and I downloaded it then, but it is the coolest sweater. I originally thought it was crochet, not from looking at it, but I thought that they had mentioned it being crochet, and so I had just not even looked at the pattern. I just remember like glancing at it and thinking it was so, so cute, and I think it would be really cool in this yarn. It's actually a knitted sweater, so I will be knitting it. I was really excited that it was going to be crochet because I was like, oh, I want to mix this up and do some crochet in here, because you guys saw my swatches with this hand-dyed yarn. I wanted to see what it looked like knitted and crocheted. So here's my finished knit swatch, and I do think it's really pretty. I don't know that this is the look that I'm going for. I think I may end up adding in another contrast color. I really, really like this turquoise kind of teal color here. And so I may try to find another yarn that I can add in as a contrast. I do also think black would be a good contrast. I just don't normally go for black, so I don't know that I would use black or really like reach for it very much if I had black as the contrast. I'm just not sure. So I'm still debating on that, and I do love the pearl side. I think that that is probably my favorite as far as the texture goes and everything. I think it looks really cool. So I've got this for the knit swatch and then this for the crochet swatch. And here they are side by side. It kind of reminds me of like tie-dye a little bit. That's kind of what it reminds me of. So this is half double crochet. It's got a single crochet border just because I started with single crochet. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to take forever, so let's go ahead and do half double crochet. So that's kind of where I ended up. I just could not decide exactly what I wanted to do with it. But I think what I am going to do, because there are several different colors in this particular sweater, I'm going to purchase some black to go with it, and then a couple of other contrast colors. So I don't want it to get too crazy. I definitely want this to be like the star of the show. So I may end up using this for 2 of the colors and then just pick out the black. I do think black is going to be my contrast color because I think that would look really cool with this colorway. And then I'll just have to see what I want the other ones to look like. I want it to not to be too much, but I also think it could be really cool. So my favorite color in here is this like turquoise teal color. And so I'd really love to find a yarn that is that same shade. So I don't know, we'll have to see. When we go visit family in just a few weeks, we may go to a yarn store, and I think it would be so fun to take you guys along and find some yarn to go with this. So we'll see that maybe in the future plans, but I'm really, really excited to make this sweater. It's going to be a lot of color work for me. It's definitely going to be a It will challenge my colorwork skills a little bit, but that's okay. It's gonna be good and I'm excited, and I think this sweater is amazing. So this yarn is 100% superwash and it's a fingering weight pretty much, so I will definitely have to see how the gauge works out. It looks like for that pattern they use Highland wool and then Friends wool, I believe, which are both Hobie yarns. One is a number 3 weight and the other is a number 4. So I'm just gonna have to see what the gauge looks like. This is definitely a thinner weight, so I'm not sure. I'll just have to see how that works. I'll have to see how far off I am. Another thing is, if I held 2 of them together, it would definitely be perfect, but then I don't know if I would have enough. But if I did choose another color, then I might have enough for everything. So we'll see. So there's 1,200 yards here, 400 in each of these that have 3 skeins. So I'm super excited to make that sweater, but I really, really want to find those other yarns that will be perfect with it, and it may be a little bit of a challenge, but that is the Seven Sisters sweater, and I think that's gonna be super, super cute with this yarn. So this next one uses some of the yarn that I had put in this bin from last time, and then I also found some more yarn. So I kind of knew I had this yarn somewhere too, but I don't think I shared it in the video. I found it and was going to share it in the video, but then the video ended up being so long I don't think I even ended up sharing it. But it is leftover from my Peek-a-Pow Hairy Wolf, which I made into a fox. This is Stylecraft Life DK. It is a 75-25 blend, so 75% acrylic, 25% wool, and each one of these has 326 yards. Now I don't have full skeins of all of these. I do have one full skein in the orange, and then one almost full skein in this color here, which is mustard. This is copper. And then I've got this green here, which I used a little bit of that too. The green is olive, I think. And then I have this color as well, which is parchment. So I did use a little bit of this recently for my little seal that I made. I was originally going to make the whale, the Peek-a-Pow whale. I wasn't super happy with the way the whale was turning out, and so I decided to go with the seal instead. It's a gift for our realtor. She is having a baby. She might have already had her baby now at this point, but she's having her baby this month. And so I was just going to show you really quick the little beanie that I made. I haven't finished it yet. My husband said it looks like that little worm from that video game. It's so funny. So I haven't done like the tail or the flippers, but I made this little beanie with it. And so it is super cute. I did end up doing a knitted brim. I just really liked that. And I didn't do the pom-pom like it shows in the picture because I'm making it for a little boy. So I thought it looked cute without it and decided just to go with a beanie like this. Plus I thought it looked kind of Alaska. So this is the little seal, Anderson seal, I think it's his name. I just have the flippers and the tail left, and I'm really, really happy with him. He was really, really fun to make, so definitely excited about that. But I did use just a little bit of that yarn for this, and then I did also use this for the fox's cowl. So I think there's still quite a bit here, but I did use a little bit of it for that. This is all DK weight yarn, and this hand spun that I have is definitely not DK. It's probably more of a worsted. I don't know. There's a variation in it for sure. So it's a little bit thinner, a little bit thicker in areas, but I'm hoping that I can get away with it going with this DK here. So I'm not sure how many yards are in this right here in this hand spun, but I knew that if I used it for a stripe, it would be really fun. And so these aren't normally colors that I would go for necessarily. I mean, I like them. They're like really fall type colors. But I figured with this right here, it might make it a little bit more funky, which I was excited about. And then when I found that other bag of yarn that had the Premier Retro Velvet, I thought that this purple might also go in here, like in a really kind of retro funky way. I know it looks a little bit crazy, but I think it might be fun. So what I plan on making with this is the Coloring Book Raglan. I know all these sweaters are knit and it just kind of worked out that way. I really wanted to have one of these be crocheted, but I do have some crochet projects also, so I'll be sure to share those too. But most of the things that I was finding to go with the yarn, it just happened to be knit. I do also have several whips that are crochet projects, and so I have a lot of crochet going on, but it seems like this is all knitting. But it's not just all knitting. I promise I will show some of the crochet too. But this is the Coloring Book Raglan, and I did see it originally from Paper Crane Yarns. Hers is so cute. I love Ashley's podcast. I really love watching it. She completes so many projects. It's amazing. She sews, she knits, she crochets, she embroiders. It's just really, really cool. Hers was the original one that I favorited. I loved it so much, and I really love like her placement of the stripes and everything. I do like the long sleeve version because I'm not really a 3/4 length sweater kind of person, but she's got lots of options here. I do like even the plain one with just like kind of the different colors around the ribbing, but I think I will probably end up doing different stripes and the long sleeve version. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll have plenty of yardage for it because I have so many skeins here. These are the yarns that she uses in her sweater, and it is a worsted weight, I believe. I'm hoping that I can get gauge by just adjusting the needle size, and it'll be interesting to see. So I'm going to test that out, but it says between 652 and 1736 yards. So I think I will end up making a size 2 probably, which looks like it's a 39-inch chest measurement. I might make a size 3. I'll just have to see. Once I get the gauge and everything, I will just I'll kind of go from there. But I think that this could be really cool. I know that it seems funky, but honestly, I really think that once these are all together in stripe form, I think it's going to look really, really cute. And I'm so happy to be using this yarn because honestly, I don't know what else I would use this yarn for. Originally, I was going to make a sweater for my daughter out of it, and then I never did, but she's kind of into different colors now than she was even then. And so I think this is going to be really a fun sweater. And I'm really excited to see how this hand spun knits up, and I can't wait to cake this up on the yarn winder. So that is the Coloring Book Raglan. I'm excited to experiment with stripes. I absolutely love stripes, and I really like playing around with the colors, so I'm very excited about that one. So there is still quite a bit of yarn in here, and I do have like some ideas in mind, but I don't have a specific project quite yet. I think I might do like a scrap project, which I kind of wanted that to be crochet too. So if I get to that before this video is done filming, then I will definitely film that part too. Well, y'all, the more I've been thinking about it, I have really wanted to make some granny squares with these knit collage scraps. So I've got these here. I think I'm just gonna make some sort of granny square project. I think I'm going to make a sweater or jacket type thing. I might even make another Corinne cardie. I'm not sure. I just was really thinking I want to make some granny squares with that knit collage yarn. And so let's go ahead and do that. I definitely want to have crochet and knitting both represented in this video because I love them both so much and always want to have both types of projects going at all times. And so I thought this would be a really fun thing for us to just kind of play around with some granny squares. Let's just see what happens. I am wondering about if I did a jacket, I'm thinking about possibly doing a really large granny square for the back and then some smaller ones, maybe just variations in sizes. So I've been playing around with a few different things. Of course, you saw I made the center here with the wildflower yarn, and then I've got this friendship bracelet yarn that I made a center with. I did like the Serenity Boucle with this right here. I didn't want to cut any of the tails just in case I changed it. I know it looks like an absolute mess right here. But I think instead of doing totally random, which is what I was originally going to do, I think I might do like a color gradient, starting with the light colors, going into warms and then cool. I don't know. We're gonna test it out. I'm also trying to decide if I want to do like separate them into sections and have smaller granny squares or just have one big one. So I'm kind of like playing around with that, but that is where my brain is at right now. I do need to figure out what to do with this Spun Cloud Light because really to get the same weight, I need to kind of hold two strands together. It looks like chaos, but I'm working something out in my brain. Well, y'all, here is a little glimpse of my granny square. It's really been fun to work on. I do think that I was kind of like rushing to get it done. Oh my goodness, I guess my cat likes it too. So what I did was just started with, of course, the lighter colors and then went from warm to cool. So I'm starting with the blues and everything now. I didn't really have a whole lot of green. I had this that was part of the mixtape yarn, and I do actually have some just like batik fabric strips that I made myself into yarn a long time ago. And then of course the rest of this is just knit collage scraps. This is Serenity Boucle here. This is Friendship Bracelet yarn, which they don't carry anymore, and I don't think they carry this color either. It's Peony in the boucle, the Serenity Boucle. This is the batik fabric. This is what I used for the sweater I have on in this video. So it's burnt red, I think, in the Serenity Boucle. I really, really like this color. And then this is daisy chain yarn right here, and I think sweet papaya. And there's a little bit of firecracker in there. We've got some spun cloud and minty. Oh my goodness, I love this color so much. And then this is wildflower. I cannot remember the name of this color, but I'll be sure to put it right here. Let's see, I think that's it. Oh yes, this is Surf's Up Blue. It's a really pretty shade of blue. So I've got that going right here. I think I'll probably just continue with that all the way around here till we get to here, and then I'll probably just start with a new color. I do have a little bit left over of the other color in my sweater, which is ice green. So this is Polar Bear right here. This color and the burnt red and the ice green are all what's in my sweater in this video. And then I'm gonna use that after I get done with this, and then we'll just see what's next. But it's really, I think, turning out super cute, and I think that this is going to be like the starting point for the back of a sweater. So I haven't decided what the rest of the sweater is going to look like or anything like that, but I was really excited with how it turned out. All the colors make me super happy. But I think that's it for the yarns that I went through but didn't have a plan for. I am going to add these back into here, and I already had a little bit of that yellow, as you can see right here. I had a little bit of that in here. So I'm just going to put that right next to that and save that for later. I still may end up making that sweater. I'm just not sure. So I want to put this in here too. And then of course I'll put that cotton in my other cotton. So now we will dive into this one, which I did mention the things that I want to make with this. There's actually a lot of crochet projects in here with this. I do need to figure out how much yardage I have with this Bernat Forever fleece, but I wanted to kind of like freestyle crochet a cardigan with it. I thought it would be really cozy, really cute. I originally wanted to do some sort of like tapestry crochet or Fair Isle crochet or intarsia with like making a little heart on the cardigan. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not, but I think that would be really cute. I don't know if I want to do like a basic stitch just to make it easy, or if I want to kind of play around with different stitches. We'll have to see. I guess I'm going to leave this in here just so it doesn't get super messy. So these little minis here, I did plan on making that crochet vest with it, and I still want to do that. I think I'm just going to play around with that. I need to have this be like an ongoing project, so I just make a flower when I think of it and then attach them all together. So that's definitely a plan. I want to make crochet socks with this. Just need to get started on that, so I already have a plan for that. And these are my sock scraps that I was telling you about that I could use with the Addi yarn. But I don't know. I may end up just making the beanie. And then if I have leftover, which I will have leftover, I could just add it into here and then kind of work my way up to having enough yarn to make one of those sweaters. So that might be a good idea too. That way it's more of a completely scrappy sweater instead of just like 2 full hanks of yarn and then some scraps. That might actually be a better option. I think that's what I'm going to go with. And then of course this Bernat Baby Sport, I am going to be making some knitted pants with it. I'm not sure how much yardage I'm going to need, but there is a lot of yardage here, and so I thought it would be a great project for it. So that's definitely in the plans. I don't know when I'm going to get to that. And then of course I have those other yarns that I have a design in mind for. So I have lots of yarn for projects that I know I want to make in 2026. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all these because I do still have several projects either on the needles or in the whips that I haven't even shown you guys that I still have to do another video for. So I've got a lot going on, and I'm trying not to get to the point where I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I'm excited and super inspired about all this stuff, but I don't want to get overwhelmed by it, and that can definitely happen. So I'm trying to finish up some stuff. I'm going to finish my little seal hopefully tonight. I've also got my daughter's sweater that I'm working on back here that I am getting close to being finished with. I don't think there's a whole lot left on that, so that's good. So I'll be finishing up some projects, which will be a good deal. Thank you guys so much for joining me as I shared my 2026 crochet and knitting plans. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. Maybe you found some inspiration for projects of your own. Maybe you found a pattern you wanted to make or a yarn you'd like to try. It was really a fun project for me to go through my yarn that I already had and find projects for the things that I already had on hand. Sometimes we forget even what we have, especially if it's out of sight. It's out of sight, out of mind. And so it was really fun to kind of go through all of my yarn and figure out what I wanted to use it for. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!